Good morning, game changers. What is up? Here's a volume change. Hold on, it's gonna beep. Oh, I love those. One more time. All right. So today I'm going to talk to you about something important that dealt with the Return of Christ work that I do. So my name is Juniper Blue Mystique. That is what Spirit calls me. I was born into the name of Brianna, so some people know me as that as well. Today, I have to talk about the return of Christ. Okay, this is something important you want to see. If you let your shadow stop you, it could, this is a battle for our soul, right? That's what the Ascension is. I am not normal. I'm not a star seed. I'm not a light worker. I am different. And all that plays out on this channel. You find this video upon. Spirit wants me to say it like this. This is not my ego. Okay, so don't let yours clunk up the energy, right? Because it will try to. It always does. But I am the return of Christ. I didn't know this at first. It all played out through my own awakening since 2019. And I've done some crazy things to the earth, okay? Really crazy things, from clearing Mount Shasta to activating pyramids all over the globe, including one in Machu Picchu, Budapest, Brazil, Myanmar, Thailand, Indonesia, Lake Titicaca. I actually built one, right? I took us into 7D. I shifted the poles. I activated 5 more. I rebuilt the crystalline grid. I replaced all crystals in the earth from dark to light, and including dried up the Nile. Okay, and all of it actually plays out on this channel. Spirit had me create this channel when I had my awakening. They also told me to create Hertz music, so I do that as well. And I used to do missing persons stuff until I got in the new earth because I was the first one through. Why? Because I opened up all the gates to it and cleared out all darkness. And now everybody is in the path of wrath, or what you call judgment day, but what Spirit calls karmic day. Okay, so it's all about reaping what you sow, because God doesn't judge, only people do. So be sure to keep your judgments at bay. But in the work that I've done, I have also brought down the anointing of the blood of Christ, and I undid the Holy Grail, which was not holy at all. And in doing that, I returned Jesus and Mary Magdalene. Now, there's something important I have to show you guys, okay? It's super, super cool. So for those who are still watching and didn't let their ego and shadow take over, because I spark your shadow. That's what I do. So everything I do, people do throw judgments sometimes because their shadow gets in the way, okay? And in the new earth, you can't have any of that. So it's important to look at things through the lens of love only, all right? Now, you are now currently looking at, let me make sure what you are looking at. Yeah, my YouTube channel. Okay, this is where the whole entire thing played out, but not everything is on this channel. Bringing down the blood of Christ is not on this channel. Fiji Part 2 is not on this channel. Helping you clear all of your karma is not on this channel, because to work with me, truly work through me, is a blessing not awarded to all, but all of you are on the wrath of path, right? The path of wrath. So no matter what, everybody's rising through judgment day, through all 13 gates, and you have to choose outside of karma and the past in order to get there. Now, healing in the old earth is not the same as healing through the ascension. The only thing you should be worrying about is upgrading and getting into the new earth, okay? So I've had people ask me how they should go about healing their past lives, and it doesn't work that way anymore. You are currently playing out every lifetime you've ever had. It's all of your karma wrapped into one beautiful bow. And that's the truth, okay? So your past life should not be the focus. It's learning where you're outside of love and where your shadow rides and where you've made choices in the past, because the lessons are already playing out for you. And the way that it works is as you make it through every portal, which is all the pyramid activations and things that I did, Ecuador, Congo, Kilimanjaro, Colombia, my DM helped me with these ones. These are the masculine ones. All of that, once you get through the portals, it's all testaments of the one, trials and tribulations. Revelations 21:12 talks of that. And then once you choose wisely through choices hidden in disguise, then you get to rise further through that portal. Then that is clearing that karma from that lifetime, but they come through lessons in disguise. And the only way to bypass any of that is doing my path to righteousness. That's why it's not given to everybody, okay? Because you can't even watch these videos half the time without shadow sparking and anchoring you into the shadow if you choose to, okay? So the work that I do is very real. I activated the Sphinx, which is the portal of time. These are all pyramid activations. I cleared out the collective and individual shadow. All right, but today's video is about the return of Christ. So the return of Christ started playing out where God married my DM and I, because I started uniting with him, and that was a battle. That was not an easy journey. So please understand that my journey is not normal. You actually have to watch these videos to understand it. We were battled. The fallen angels came through, attacked him and attacked me, and I spent over a good year. I didn't do it once or twice. I'm doing it now 3 times with even my new DM, unfortunately, because that one died. He didn't make it. And when I say he died, he really did. I was begging him not to go that way. But even in the end, he still chose not to rise through God. And on August 30th, he did not make it. Okay, so God took the soul out, ripped the part that was him and put it somewhere else. He's no longer who he once was. And then my twin soul part went into a new DM, okay? And then right after that, I undid the Holy Grail and united Jesus to Mary Magdalene on Christmas Day of 22. Now I'm going to show you a piece of that today. So this video is 1 hour and 17 minutes. But recently, Spirit actually had me post it on my main Facebook page. And then I've had this private group, which I stopped posting in for a little while. And even on here, there's people that they think they're awake, but they're not seeing it. And so I broke it down, okay? I broke down the video, and I'm going to show you that today because it shows you the key parts of it. It's about 10 minutes long. And then I'm going to show you some other things because they are building bunkers, and I've talked about that. People think they can escape the wrath. Now they know what I did. When I undid the Holy Grail, you guys, they knew, okay? And they knew I had this darkness trying to stop me. It was like, just watch. I'm going to show you what this says, okay? This, because not everybody's watching it. And if they are watching it, I don't know if they're processing it properly because they're not watching everything else. In Ecuador, they told me I was Sekhmet after that. I cleared all darkness from the moon. Not all of those are on this channel. It's only in the path. In the path that I have, I take all your karma and I surface it, all your shadow, I remove it from you. And all you have to do through every portal is to be able to remain in balance, to see clearly, to choose wisely, and I get you through the new gates. It's not a conspiracy. It's not like all of the darkness. Don't throw darkness into what I did because who I am is real, okay? I activated pyramids in Nigeria, Botswana, Zimbabwe. Why my DM matters so much. He's the Eye of Ra and I'm the Eye of Horus. And you would know that if you watched the Nile workshop, because then all of a sudden they put my feet in water. I turned it blood red and I dried it up and they told me I was the Queen of Life. But then I called back my power from the lifetime of Sekhmet. And in this one, I called my power back from the lifetime of Mary Magdalene, okay? And I didn't know that at the time. Later on, her soul intertwined with mine because I was still waking up. I didn't know who I was. I didn't make this up. I couldn't if I tried, okay? I never read the Bible, didn't go to church, knew something was wrong there. And I wasn't on a spiritual path before my awakening. I was in the psychological field, okay? Mt Shasta part 2, I burned Archangel Samael because I undid all the darkness. Mt Shasta was never of light, okay? Then all of a sudden, I mean, I kept doing stuff. They tell me what the Ankh was. Jesus didn't die on a cross, okay? The cross broke because they murdered him and they separated the masculine and feminine. Again, since Adam and Eve, Jesus and Mary Magdalene and Sekhmet and Horus. All my lifetimes. Those are my lifetimes that I just cleared. Okay, and they were the same. They were not separate. They were just different lifetimes of the same soul. This one I undid Revelations 21:13. It talks about the directionals. You can watch that one to see what I did. Processed the earth's death, and I took her into the new earth. I took her through the gates of heaven. All of Garden of Eden will be the entirety of what earth is now. And not everybody is going to make it through, and I'm going to show you that. But in this one, so my second DM, I told you I got to walk in. And I've been battling the darkness with him as well, because if you don't listen to God, you're listening to the shadow. Okay. And so at first he hesitated and he let the shadow in and it got me and I was not strong enough. And it took me a little bit to get my strength back. Okay. So that's why there's a little bit of delay with him rising. He's beautiful though. I love him dearly. And so I just want you guys to know that. But, then not too long ago, he finally took on the soul of Jesus. When I freed Jesus' soul, it went into the Garden of Eden because my original DM was near darkness. He wasn't able to take it on. He wasn't rising. But now my new DM is. And then recently, oh, here's the anointing of the blood of Christ as well. And recently he took on Horus lifetime. He rose through that portal, which is the final portal. So when the Nile turns to blood dry, it's done. Game over. Okay, you won't have any more time to heal. That's the final portal. If you haven't made it through the portals by that time, there's no more time left. Okay, that's how it will play out. That's a part of it. But here's the thing too, is it's karmic related. So nobody is going to know when, okay? God will not tell you when, because your things have to come through choices hidden in disguise, right? Because it's lessons. You have to come through the lessons of lifetimes, all of your lifetimes, because it's the great reset, my friend. So what I did was cause the great reset, the seventh wave of creation, God said. So it's a restart to life. And you either make it into heaven on earth or you go somewhere else to learn your lessons, okay? And some people will start all over completely and they will never know life this way, especially those that don't belong, right? But if you truly anchor into darkness all the way, like, I don't know, I'm not even going to talk about my original DM anymore, okay? So my DM took on finally the lifetime of Jesus and then also the lifetime of Horus. Now that's important because of what I'm about to show you. And you can watch these. These are the workshops. And in this one, he rose from the Sphinx. It was super special. So I built the Sphinx. I found out when I activated Ecuador, they told me I was Sekhmet. And I was like, what? And it took me a long time to process that. I'm like, what? I'm Sekhmet? And then they told me that I built a Sphinx. And I was like, what? And then shortly after the Nile came and I didn't see that coming and I was like, what? And I called back my lifetime from that. Now the Sphinx is not really called the Sphinx. That's what you guys call it. It's named for Horus return. And now I know why. If you watch the video where Horus returns, my DM, he came through all of those tests and he took on that lifetime, but the soul of Horus rose from the Sphinx. Super special. And then the Sphinx lost all life. So it's also the portal of time. It was created for the end days. Okay. And Horus was going to return and he has. All right. So now we're going to watch this. Woo. That's loud. That's loud. We are going to watch this now. Let me make sure it's at the beginning. This is just the snippets from the Return of Christ one on Christmas Day. You can watch the full video on my YouTube channel, okay? I encourage you to do so, but they are long. Everything I say in them matters, but people's attention spans in their shadow stop them from seeing. There's 53 people in this group, and when I posted it, one left. So it shows you how the shadow is working. If you think going to church is praising God, it's not. The church is going to fall, okay? This day, I didn't know what was coming. I had to call off work. My new DM was supposed to be there. And this is important to listen to. This is the key moments, the key pieces, some of them, there's more, from the Return of Christ, undoing the Holy Grail part and uniting Jesus and Mary Magdalene. I didn't know what was coming. Okay, so just listen without judgment and watch. There's something important that's said in here. Let the crown games begin, my friends.
Again, I was supposed to be doing this with my twin flame. He's being bypassed. It's not a joke where there's things for him to do. It's nothing to take lightly. It's to take seriously. My DM died. Let's not forget that. Okay? Let's not forget that. So, this is what they said. Allow the crown game to begin. What is done in the light can't be done in the darkness. I have to repeat that.
It's important.
Allow the crown games to begin. What is done in the light, oh, the chills, can't be done in the darkness. What is done in the darkness will not flow into the light. Oh. We are not equal parts darkness and light.
No.
We are not. We are filled only with heavenly pure light.
Should be.
It is balance only of masculine and feminine, which is what has been off. There is and can only be masculine and feminine. There is no deviations of the such. Allow the crown games to begin.
Listen carefully.
We are now opening up the energy of the one, the Holy One, from the heavens above, beginning to come down. This will not affect all of you. It cannot come directly from that. It's going to filter through the pyramidal flow.
So in order to receive the healings that I give is through the path. But when I did this, it affected the whole entire collective soul. Okay. So you may have shadow and you may have karma from all lifetimes. You don't know. And that's what you have to clear. You have to clear it all or you won't make it, because just like I said, the lights don't match. What is done in the darkness cannot make it into the light. And what is done in the light cannot be used by darkness going forward at all. Okay, so you have to understand what unconditional love is, and you have to clear all of your darkness. And you don't know until you know. I didn't know until I knew. You don't know until you know. All right. It's dangerous to think that you don't have any. It's dangerous to think that I'm not real, because the proof is all right in front of you. Okay, so just watch.
So the light from the heavens above, from the Creator, is coming down through the pyramids that I've activated in Fiji, Myanmar, Budapest, Thailand, Machu Picchu, and Lake Titicaca, my pyramid. Okay, the light is coming down through those. And remember, I said at Lake Titicaca, there was like this weird lava flow coming down, okay, which caused a huge divide. I thought it was just me and Adam and Eve, but it was not. This is part of that story. Okay, that's what I mean. If you think you know.
So let me correct this. Up until this point, I didn't think I had anything that it was confusing me, because I'm like, where does Jesus come in? I freed his soul in the very beginning because he was murdered by John the Apostle. So I thought that that was it. And then I cleared Mount Shasta. I activated Fiji. I did all these things. And they told me I was Adam and Eve. That was my lifetime. But what I didn't realize is I cleared the lifetime of Adam and Eve first by raising Atlantis. Then it went into Jesus and Mary Magdalene's lifetime. And then in the end, it was Sekhmet and Horus. Okay. And that was the way that I did it. So I started with the Adam and Eve timeline. Then I went to the Jesus and Mary Magdalene timeline, and then it was Sekhmet and Horus, and it was all a part of my awakening. It was so mind-blowing. I had no idea.
Oh, you do not. You do not. So I see people, there's like an argument, there's like almost like a war going on. And it's one that they don't talk about very often. So there's a major division going on. Jesus at the time kept trying to speak his truth. And he was basically being tortured, okay? And they were manipulating Mary Magdalene. It absolutely was the case.
So I missed something, so I'm just going to go back just a little bit. We're going to hear that again.
So I see people, there's like a huge divide. I thought it was just me and Adam and Eve, but it was not. This is part of that story, okay? That's what I mean. If you think you know it all, you do not. You do not. So I see people, there's like an argument, there's like almost like a war going on. And it's one that they don't talk about very often. So there's a major division going on. And Jesus at the time kept trying to speak his truth. And he was basically being tortured, okay? And they were manipulating Mary Magdalene. It absolutely was the case. Oh my gosh, like they made.
I didn't know I was her yet. After this video, I have witnesses, Amy H., who went through the whole entire path with me and went into the new earth with me, Jasaint and Gigi. They know, because afterwards, I think it was Amy I was doing something with, I don't remember exactly. They would have to help me with that. Mary Magdalene's soul went into mine. So each portal you go through, when you clear your karma, your past life has to be wiped out. Like that's when it's cleared and you take your power back from that lifetime. And that's what I was doing, my friends. So I didn't know I was her at the time.
Made her afraid. She was very afraid. She was very afraid. It was like this fear rising.
I felt every bit.
From the core of the earth. I'm gonna throw up. I'm
channeling this.
I'm getting a scroll. So Lord Sananda is handing me a scroll and I'm shaking. This is like taking my energy. It's taking my breath away. There's a lot going on. I see like this fight, I see like this battle, and I see like these lies being shed. And it was an attack on Mary Magdalene. It was an attack on Jesus as well. It was not a pretty death. It was, I cannot repeat that enough. He did not die for your sins. They fucking murdered him. Okay? And then somehow they got Mary Magdalene to take his blood.
So really quick, if you go back in my list, one of the very first videos was when I freed his soul. I was doing a Patreon healing, so I didn't know it was coming. It came in the end and I went fast. You have to watch it a couple times possibly. But I saw Jesus in his lifetime. Then all of a sudden I saw him standing with John the Apostle, and I kept saying, I didn't know who that was because I don't read the Bible. I didn't at all. And the person there with me had to let me know who that was. And he gave him bread and wine. And Jesus knew something was wrong, but he took it because he was starving. He was very just famished. He was not healthy. Like, I felt my heart broke with the image I saw of him. And he took both the wine and the bread, and they were both poisoned with very high levels of strychnine or cyanide. I don't remember which one. And then he started burning from the inside out, and it was a 20-minute painful death. And then he bled out of every orifice. No cross was ever involved. The cross broke because of what they did here.
And to give it for the wrong purpose. For the wrong purpose.
So let me go back on that a little bit.
Really hurts.
If I don't give you the backstory, people just assume, and they don't. So hang on.
And to give it for the wrong purpose.
So they had Mary take his blood, and that's what I was saying.
And they fucking murdered him. Okay? And then somehow they got Mary Magdalene to take his blood. And to give it for the wrong purpose. For the wrong purpose.
It was painful. No, keep in mind my DM was supposed to be with me, and even in Mount Shasta Part 2, I was crying a lot because he wasn't with me. So I had to do these by myself, and that was not supposed to be. So if you watch the beginning of this, I had to actually take on the blue light so that I was encompassing both the masculine and the feminine. It hurt badly. So in Mount Shasta Part 2, I'm crying as well a lot because I can't reiterate how much it's actually hurt me. I can't make these up if I tried. And when people throw judgment at it and are not celebrating the actual rebirth and return, it's heartbreaking. But it's not my judgment day. I made it through.
Between the soul, okay, I can feel it. Like you're ripping right now. There's soul, and it's a division. You don't want to feel it. You don't want to feel it.
No.
You don't want to feel it.
Keep watching.
My soul, that was her twin flame. And I could feel the rip, I could feel the tear, I could feel the
Then they burned him.
The shadow.
So then they burned him. So there's some people who think he's buried somewhere. They burned him because I saw them do what they did. They got Mary to gather the blood, and then the soul's ripped in half. And after they did that to him, they burned him. Now wait till you hear what the Holy Grail is. I'm going to tell you in just a minute. It's not a cup. But they used the cup to gather the blood.
But it was near the Euphrates River. It was near the Euphrates River.
It was near the Euphrates River. That's where he died. And I forgot about this. I thought I cleared it when I did the collective shadow, but it was all pieces together. It's all relevant. And there's no coincidence to now the Euphrates is dried up. I'm telling you, what I'm doing is playing out in your environment. So keep watching. This is important. We're almost there.
I'm close to there. I'm close there. I don't know where I am, but I'm over there. I'm over there. I'm over there. Like I can see the dirt. I can see the dirt. It's like red, like a red clay dirt. And there's something with that. There's something with the notes. And Okay. So I'm gonna take a step back and gather myself, be repairing their twin flame connection, igniting their soul as I'm drawing the blood out of the earth, which has to do with the Euphrates River. All of this happens near there. I can't reiterate that enough. I can't reiterate that enough. I can't reiterate.
So when I tell you I cleared all the bloodshed off this planet and all the darkness, it's not a joke. And none of you did it. I did it. Nobody could do it but me. Those that rose with me had their own stuff to do. Saint took part in clearing Catholicism. That was part of her bloodline. It wasn't her particularly, but she was the chosen one to come back and clear that from the Vladimir bloodline. And others had their own stuff to do. And we also cleared Salem. Amy helped me a lot in clearing the collective shadow for the twin souls, and she united with her twin soul. So they all had their own purpose. But what I did, nobody else can do. So a lot of people like to throw that my way. You think you did it. You trust me, I did. And now all of you are on my path of wrath because I am the one. Okay. So there's some distorted of understanding because they lie to you, they lie to you, they lie to you, they lie to you. All right. So understand, and this actually hurts so bad. Everything that I did hurt so bad. If you go back and watch my beginning videos, I'm skinny, I'm beautiful. And as the DM died, as I started clearing all this stuff, especially on my own, my physical vessel took a hit tenfold. And I've been tested. I've gotten healings. My heart was enlarged. I don't have diabetes. I have to heal. I have to take the time now to heal, because when fallen angels attack you, when that darkness attacks you, it's not just like going to a Catholic person and getting an exorcism. I had to heal it and remove it, but I had to repair my chakras and heal my vessel. These things were absolutely, unequivocally painful, but I am so freaking proud. And God called me mahogany because he doesn't even know how I survived, because I held on to the strength of my kids, being a single mom, and the love for my DM. And with that, I wasn't giving up. And we've never made it before. We've tried. So from Adam and Eve, we kept trying. Okay, but now it's done. And now you either rise or you don't, but you're all on my path.
Wait, that enough. I feel like that's where I'm at. Okay. And it's like this red dirt somewhere over there. I don't know. That's all I know. I know shit about geography. The blood, the truth, the blood, the truth. And then I see some writing. Some writing was written in his fucking blood. Excuse my language. That makes me angry, but I'm human. I have to heal that. I let that go and let that go. There's some writing written in his blood. It's writing written in his. They signed a contract in his.
Listen. The Holy Grail. Now, if you know about twin souls, we are the same soul split in two. And then there's a masculine aspect of him and a feminine of me. So if you think I'm separate from Jesus, you're wrong. If you think Jesus is separate from me, you're absolutely wrong. So this, I'm actually feeling it. Okay. Now this was my murder, my death, my bloodshed, his bloodshed. I'm feeling, I don't know how to explain that pain to you, but it was extremely painful. So the Holy Grail was not a cup. They had Mary gather his blood in the cup, and she had to give it to John the Apostle. And I talk about how many people were standing there. There was like 4 people and her, and then they wrote a contract in his blood, and that was the true Holy Grail. And I undid this on Christmas 1 year ago.
That's like this thing, and
listen, it hurts.
Has to do with Mary Magdalene, and Jesus is on the ground bleeding.
Listen carefully.
You guys, the Holy Grail is not a fucking copy. It's
it
contract, and it's written in blood. It's really hard. And I'm like written in blood, but I think it's written in like Hebrew or something. 4 other people, and Mary Magdalene is there, and she's covered in his blood.
Did you hear that? I said, John the Apostle, 4 other people, and Mary Magdalene are there, and she's covered in his blood. She was distraught. At first, I didn't understand, and I was like, there's no way she took part in this. She didn't. They forced her, and it was me, and I didn't know that at the time, but the pain was very real. It's still like hard to process to this day, and the fact that people are not celebrating who I am and what I've done. Each time I post these is like a part of judgment. Who's choosing to see God and who is not? Who's throwing darkness still at God? So pay attention, okay? Church is false. This was painful. So please watch and watch it again if you have to, but you can actually watch the video without me stopping it. And the whole thing has stuff the whole way.
And they're writing some contract written in Jesus' blood. It's not a cup. It's not a cup. I repeat, it's not a cup. It's some cup. And it really exists. It's out there.
Listen carefully. So I'm saying it really exists. It's out there. Like I'm showing you that it happened on Christmas Day, you guys. So the resurrection really did happen and I didn't see it coming. I didn't know. I think my DM knew, but he hesitated. He let the shadow in and he didn't know what he was doing. The new one. And then from there for the last year, I've been battling that shadow again. So I didn't do it once. I didn't do it twice. I've done it 3 times now for the twin flames. Okay. But the Holy Grail, they told you, was a cup for a reason. They talked about the Last Supper. The Last Supper was truly the poisoning they gave him. They killed him. They were happy about that. Then they got Mary, his twin soul, to gather his blood in a cup. And at first I thought that they just claimed that that cup was powerful, but now I know why. I thought because I didn't know, it was all my own awakening. Then they had her, she was all covered in his blood. She was distraught. It was not okay. She felt the ripping of the soul. It was extremely painful. I don't think I could reiterate how painful it was. It's no pain you've ever experienced, okay? Even being burned alive doesn't compare. I'm telling you, because I felt that too. Then they took his blood, and John the Apostle wrote a contract in his blood, and that is what they actually have somewhere. Now hang on, because I told you they're building bunkers for a reason, because they knew when I undid it. So keep listening.
So what I see is Jesus is standing up. It's like he just stood up from his body,
I'm resurrecting this right now. I'm
And
undoing
I
it.
see the contract, and at the bottom of the contract, it's like they carved out this little thing, and the blood is just flowing down, and that's how they're doing it. All the blood is flowing down off the contract.
So I'm undoing it word for word, and it hurts. That scroll they gave me, I'm reading it. That's what I'm saying, the light language. It's language of the gods. And I'm literally undoing the Holy Grail as we speak in this.
And it's being resurrected at this time. This is not a joke. This is not a fucking joke. All the blood off this paper, it's not even exactly like our paper, okay? But it's written in blood on it, and it's now flowing down word for word for word. It's like almost he took his finger and he wrote this out, and Mary Magdalene is giving him the blood, and he's writing it out, and Mary Magdalene is giving him the blood, and he's writing it out, and all of that is being undone. And as I'm undoing that, Lord Sananda, or Jesus, and Mary Magdalene's soul is starting to come back together. It's starting to come back together. You all are getting activations from my pyramid and like Titicaca, which is the earth.
What you guys don't realize is if you go back to my channel, in the very beginning of it, I started uniting with my twin flame I didn't know I had. So as I was doing these things, I ended up meeting my twin flame somewhere in here. And I talk about that in this one. This one is out of order, okay? But I talked about, I didn't know he was my neighbor. Eventually, our souls went like this. The moment they did that, he took off with a fallen angel. And Spirit kept telling him, don't do that. He wouldn't listen to God, okay? And then I went into the battle of my lifetime. And God married us as he started rising. It took me a whole year to battle that. And he I freed his soul again. And then in the end, he chose not to listen, and I had to do it on my own. What does it mean for my DM to no longer be, and a walk in to replace him? So it actually unfolded all on my channel, all in front of your eyes. And then I got a walk in, and I was able to complete the dome of protection. So my soul and my twin flame, our souls literally went like this, and I felt it. It was the craziest feeling in the world. It was scary because they showed me it was life or death, and I felt so much love. Okay, but I feel more love now from my new DM than I ever have before. So it explains what's happening. Then we were to do this together. I had special candles that I had to create for it. And so I got to create 2 new ones now for my DM. So just keep watching.
First staple shot. I have literally just positioned the gods amongst the planet. That dark shadow is like this. And then I want you to imagine all of the gods are surrounding Jesus, Mary Magdalene, and this contract and me. And then it's all the gods.
So it stops there, but that's what I was doing. I finish out by undoing the Holy Grail. Okay. You can watch the whole entire thing on my channel right here. All right. So I surrounded the gods around the earth.
Good morning, everybody. How are you all doing so far this morning? It's a big early message.
Okay, I don't know where that one came from. Anyways, so I surrounded the earth with the gods, and I've done that many times in my workshops in the pyramid ones. And when I activated the portal of the gods, which was at Fiji, I opened it, and then all the gods got direction from me, and they anchored around the earth. So everything you're going to watch is Judgment Day based. It's part of we reap what you sow day. It's part of the end of days, the end of ways, because God has now fully returned. And that's what I've been doing. I am the return of Christ. I'm not separate from it. So now look at, I saw this one the other day and I'm like, what? I haven't watched it, but she's like, they're building bunkers. And this chick right here, I don't watch a lot. She does a lot of missing person stuff. Which is what I was used to do until I walked into the new earth, and I can't do that anymore because I'm not going to create my life that way. It won't exist. Listen,
underground bunkers just recently. Before we get into today's video, I do want to let you guys know that this video is for educational purposes only. Please remember to be kind to everybody everywhere.
I don't have the permission, so I'll probably stop this a lot and write to fair use, right?
In your everyday life, in your home, in the grocery store, and especially in the comment section down below. Please do not show hate to anybody, anywhere.
15 billionaires build huge bunkers, okay? And I say in here, they knew I undid the Holy Grail. They knew it. It was a contract they were holding. They had kept that for many, many, many years. They knew about it. Obama was seen saying something like, we'll do a digital Holy Grail. So they're trying to resurrect it. They're trying to do whatever they can, but they can't undo what I've done. You can't undo what I've done. The only way to bypass the collective wrath is to do my path to righteousness. Otherwise, you've got to clear it, okay? No matter who you are, you have to clear it through the 13 gates. I haven't watched this yet. I'm ready to watch it, though.
So good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing today? I hope you all are having an amazing day. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. I hope everybody's doing good. I hope you got to get outside. Mosquitoes. So next year, that Mark Zuckerberg was building allegedly, let me just throw this out here real quick. All this video is alleged. I pull my information.
I actually said they were doing this a while ago, and I said they cannot escape it. If you watch, let me show you. If you watch this one, I undid the White House. Like, it burns and it can't be rebuilt again. I activated pyramids in Colombia, Congo, and Mount Kilimanjaro, and the White House was demolished. And in there, I said I'm imploding their bunkers. So if you watch what I've done, it makes sense, but you have to watch it without allowing your shadow to get in your way, because that hurts you.
From very, very, very public news sources. I don't know any of these people. I'm not a professional. Go do your own research, form your own opinions. But when I heard that Mark Zuckerberg was investing about $250 million in an underground bunker, my ears perked up. And then as I began to dig into it, I found out more. So we're going to talk about that today. Before we get into it, though, I do want to let you guys know, if you don't already know, hi, my name is Christina. I do have a second channel, which I go onto YouTube due to their on Like to Know It Now and on Like to Know It So and all of those are linked Zuckerberg most of the time, because if I say Mark, who is Mark? It's Zuckerberg to all of us. Okay, so now according to Wikipedia, Mark Zuckerberg.
Wikipedia is not a good reputable source, but I actually said they were doing that when I started doing the other thing. I said I went underground and I blew up their bunkers. They can't escape the karmic wrath. And there's also been other things that have reported on this. So, you know, it's, are you awake or are you not? They are absolutely trying to escape. And they've been doing that since I've started doing this work in 2019. If you haven't noticed, the whole world has changed and they can't hide anymore. So let's listen.
Zuckerberg is an American businessman and a philanthropist. He co-founded the social media platform Facebook with his Harvard roommates back in 2004. And
did he co-found it or did he steal it? It depends on what side you're listening to, right? By the way, he went from looking human to looking... Yeah.
And its parent company, Meta, that he is the executive chairman and he's a controlling shareholder of it. Now, back in 2004, when Zuckerberg launched Facebook, it was originally only available at select college campuses. However, it quickly blew up everywhere and expanded to over 1 billion users by 2012. And I just do not think that these college students by any means could have foreseen what this Facebook would have accomplished. And by 2007, Zuckerberg was the world's youngest self-made billionaire at that time. In 2016, Zuckerberg was ranked number 10 on the Forbes list of the world's most powerful people. Wealth of $106 billion.
So if you know anything, these Hollywood elites, if you listen to all my videos, I've talked about that. Clearing Mt Shasta is something important I'm going to talk about next, because there was hundreds of bodies trapped there. And when I was activating the pyramids and clearing all that, I said they were in relation to the missing people and the aliens and all this kind of stuff. Some of them were not of the light. Those aliens were docked down in the ocean. Now this is relevant. Let's listen.
This is just what we know. Okay, this was 2023, last year, as of me filming this, at $106 billion. And as of February of this year, not even a year later, Zuckerberg's net worth, according
I really
to people
don't
in the
care.
world, and I definitely don't think they are on a list.
Now, have you noticed all the people you don't see anymore? They talk a lot about Oprah Winfrey. We don't really see her anymore, but they've talked about her building bunkers. Another one is like Adam Levine, like whatever happened to him, right? Like there's a lot of people who are just disappearing out of the public eye. They aren't showing their faces much. Hollywood is changing a lot. You know, and we all know what's happening with their lovely presidency. And I've talked about that in the work that I did. I actually would like travel in the very beginning of my awakening, and I gave Mr. T some paper I didn't understand, and then years later it started playing out in that environment. And if you don't think that's corrupt, I don't know what else to tell you. What a tangled web we weave, and they're all entwined, right? So let's watch.
Of 1 to 10 on Google, but now Zuckerberg's prominence in the technology industry has prompted a lot of political and legal attention over the years, and the founding of Facebook got Zuckerberg in multiple lawsuits regarding the creation and ownership of the website, as well as issues of users' privacy. 6 days after the website,
this is the quickest way to clear out stuff.
I don't know what all this video is going to say. I'm hoping it gets into what I need it to, or what I thought it would.
Seniors named Cameron, Tyler, and Diva accused Zuckerberg of intentionally misleading them into believing that he would help them build a social network called HarvardConnections.com.
Shocker! Oh my God, misleading. Shocker!
When he was actually allegedly just using
Alleged
their
shocker.
ideas to build a competing product, Facebook. The three seniors
Yeah, that's what I
in a
talked about.
current lawsuit, court documents shelters. Now, this bunker is just one part of the huge 1,400
Where does that
acre
look like it's at?
compound.
So if you know anything about the work that I did, when I activated Kilimanjaro, my DM was with me in the energy in this one. These are the masculine pyramids. The first ones were feminine. And I undid the White House. I was underwater activating some pyramid, and I'm pretty sure it was this one. And I kept saying, Krakatoa, Krakatoa. And 6 days later, there was a volcano named Krakatoa that erupted, and I didn't know what that means. So I'm like, Krakatoa, Krakatoa, what is this? And then I kept saying Hawaii. I don't want to lose all of Hawaii. I kept repeating that. I need to move Hawaii over. I don't want to lose it all. And then I don't know how much, it was very shortly after Lahaina fire just swept right through, and they still can't say what caused it. I talk about fires being coming because God's light does not align. Okay. And now all of a sudden we've heard a lot talking about this Hawaii connection and these billionaires or whoever they are. So put it all together with the work that I've done, and what do you get? An enlightened soul. Okay.
On the island of Kauai. The planning documents that were obtained by the media show the partially complete compound is supposed to include more than a dozen buildings.
So I'm just putting that together because I process these are my awakening. So in here, I kept saying, I need to move Hawaii over. I don't want to lose it all. And I was undoing the White House and all these connections, and yeah, and then all of a sudden this fire swept through, and and now all of a sudden these things are happening. So if you put it together, what do you get? Something is really hard to deny.
Buildings with at least 30 bedrooms and 30 bathrooms. It also includes 2 standalone mansions, like 2 totally different standalone mansions that are going to be connected, both of them, to tunnels that run to this 5,000 square foot bunker underground. Also in the plans, and this part actually seems pretty cool, not gonna lie, that there's going to be 11 different tree houses, okay? And they're going to have rope bridges that connect to each other.
Why? Because I mess with the oceans and the poles, and if you actually watch my stuff, so why would they know this is happening? Because they know they've been cut off from the light, and I undid the Holy Grail and the collective shadow, and I sacrificed my twin soul for it and got a walk-in who's still, unfortunately, we need his love. Like, it's a big detriment. Why do we matter? Because, oh yeah, I was Sekhmet as well, the Eye of Ra, he's the Eye of Horus. Oh wait, yeah, he rose recently and took on those souls finally. Horus returned, and all this is my awakening. It plays out not knowing it's coming. Oh yeah, and we brought down the blood of Christ. Oh yeah. So do they know something we don't know? Yeah, most of you don't know because you can't see the light. Okay, they can't see the light anymore, and they know they have no more power. So that's why it's happening. What do snakes have to do? Also, you might want to watch that one because that was pretty cool part of my awakening as well. Horus has returned. The Sphinx was really this. It's so important to watch these, you guys. And how does the darkness work with your head? Just the way that they did. Okay. No, there's something else I want to show you. So there's others building bunkers. Yes, they know something you don't know. They know the end is coming. Okay, because the end is here. It's coming now. If you're concerned about, oh, I need to heal my shadow and think you can do it the old ways, you've been cut off. So all healing even has to upgrade. The way I do things is for the ascension only. Okay, so if you work with me, it's because you want to ascend. So the real reason why many will not get into heaven, I actually talked about that, but people want to judge the image and not want to watch it. This downloaded after I did the Nile. It's Revelations 21:12. You have 12 gates, 13 gates actually, of trial and tribulation you must rise through. Now listen to this. UFO maps, which links to missing people locations. This is insane. I'm curious to see if it's Mount Shasta. Let's watch. I haven't watched this one either, but I saw it and I'm like, so let me show you the relevance to this one as well on my channel. If you watch Mount Shasta, part 1, which I didn't know anything about Mount Shasta, never been there, never wanted to, but a lot of people thought it was spiritual. And what it was a lot of bloodshed and a lot of torment and a lot of darkness. And I undid contracts all the way back to Abraham Lincoln in this one. You wonder why he was assassinated? The things that make you go, right? So in this one, there was hundreds of souls. And that's actually depicted in this painting that I didn't paint. Somebody else painted this before I did the work. I sat on Saturn, rose Atlantis. That's the first thing I did. Then I cleared Mount Shasta. Mount Shasta, not of light at all. Okay. There was hundreds of bodies trapped there, and it took me 30 days to process them all. After I did this one way back in like 2019, 2020, I had to take time off to process their deaths because I process their deaths. I don't just free them. literally had to process their emotions, life review type stuff. Okay. And it hurt. And there was hundreds of them, and not all of them were adults. There was a lot of children. And in one of these, I talked about how it's related to the aliens, and it's also the government. Okay. So it's the government. It was in part 2, I burned Samael. That was the original fallen angel. This is where they put the triangle with the eye. This created the false veil. Okay. And it's all related. And the aliens were taking people, but they were allowing them to. The things that make you go, and all these national forests is what I talked about, where the people would go missing and they were unsolved. Okay. So let's put it all together again. And what do you get? If you're actually watching my work, it should be an awakening, or you let your shadow take you and you fall. That is why not everybody can do the work that I do. It's not offered to all.
I'm going to delve into today because the whole thing is absolutely bonkers. And the further you go into it, the more you uncover, the crazier this becomes. So this came to my attention.
This guy likes to do a lot of viewer type stuff. You know what I mean? So I've never really watched his videos. But when I saw this, NASA releases UFO map, which links to missing people locations. It's all explained in all the work that I did. And I did all this work way before this came out. Okay, so false concept of time. I eliminated the darkness from the moon. But in Mount Shasta, I've talked about the connection with darkness there. Mount Shasta was filled with bloodshed. It had to be filled with bloodshed. That's not of God. So where you would see depictions of that, sacrifices, it had to do with the fallen. It had to do with Mount Shasta, the fallen angels, the false veil, what kept you guys from seeing the real God. And that's why some of you can't see me. And that's why some of you throw judgment my way. That's your shadow. Let's listen.
When News Nation dropped a video titled Lincoln County, Nevada, has the highest rate of
Wait. And they also want me to say that in one of my pyramid activations, I can't remember which, because some of the pyramids I do are underwater. I had to undock a spaceship. So there's an alien spaceship, I think, in the Atlantic Ocean. And I talked about it. There's these species on it that are no hair. They're like grayish skin, big eyes. And eventually I said they'll be found, and they will be found not alive, probably, because they're part of the karmic play out. There's other aliens that are here that are Pleiadian related and New Earth related, and they're not of dark. We are going to commingle eventually. Okay, that's why all this alien stuff is coming out. But let me tell you, the ones in Miami is a big freaking joke. Okay, they were not there. They're not in the mall. But let's listen.
UFO sightings per capita report. Now, that obviously won't come as a surprise because what's in Nevada? Area 51. So it wouldn't come as a surprise that there's been a plethora of UFO sightings over there. But let's take a little look at what News Nation have discovered.
All right, if you're interested in spotting a UFO, you might want to check out Lincoln County, Nevada, home to the secretive Area 51 Air Force Base. Probably no surprise there. According to a new report, the county has the highest rate of UFO sightings per capita in the U.S. Reported sightings are on the rise amid recent government acknowledgement of UFOs or UAPs as potential threats.
So can we just talk about the fact that there has been reported UFO sightings per 100?
I've also talked about they're going to push fear. They're going to try to push fear. But the only thing that can get you is not rising into the new earth, because we're all on the same karmic timeline. You're just in different pages of your karmic play out. So if you go into the fear that's not of God, it's going to get you. So they're going to continually try to push fear. Like there's this weird warfare with the aliens. What they're talking about is there's ones that are corrupt and there's ones that are not. There's ones that they would control and they don't have those contracts anymore because I undid them all.
1,000 residents between 2000 and 2023. That is insanity. That's a huge amount of sightings.
The latest research estimates only around 5% or less of people who witness unusual aerial phenomenon, though, actually are filing a report. Christian Stepien is the Chief Technology Officer of the National UFO Reporting Center. Thank you for being here. If people see something, why aren't they reporting it?
I think there's a number of reasons people don't report things.
Also, when I activated other pyramids, I think it might have been in these later ones. I don't know. I've done so many since 2019. I've been doing them. There's been a lot. Budapest, Myanmar, Machu Picchu, Thailand, Indonesia. I built one at Lake Titicaca, Fiji, Kilimanjaro, Congo, British Columbia, Ecuador, and all of them. And some of them, especially, I talk about how what I did being a beacon. and even into the later work in this one, I talk about the light that I shine out of the pyramids up into the dome of Christ's light, because I brought down all Christ's light. I brought down all DNA activations. But you would know that because you're not going into judgment and you're watching my videos and you've done my path, right? And I can prove everything. Like I can. It's not normal. I'm not normal. So be careful with that. And if you watch the Return of Christ full video, I warn you about judgment. If you bring judgment into the space of the work that I do, you anchor into the shadow and it's almost impossible to return. So be very careful, because who I am is not normal, right? So don't do it, because the shadow will attempt to get you to do it. But I talk a lot about these beacons that I shine up to the sky and activating the pyramids. And they are like radar for the aliens. And so there's no coincidence to the work that I've done for anything, the playing out in your environment, let alone the heightened UFO stuff. And then I talked about in Mt Shasta how all the bodies that were trapped there, it's like they would take these souls, because in order to keep it going and to keep the earth very low, they needed bloodshed, they needed carnage, they need fear, they need division, because it keeps you out of the higher vibrational, powerful state that you are. Okay. And they would trap them there. They would take missing people there. They would kidnap people and take them. Yes, that's true. But now they really, they don't have power anymore. Okay. So if you really watch what I did, it aligns with everything that is coming out in pieces, at least the real parts, right? Not the unreal parts. I talk a lot about how do not throw judgment my way. So if you watch the entirety of this one, I talk about that, warning about who I am is not normal. I'm very powerful. And if you bring judgment towards me or in any of these videos, because this is the real work. This is the real return of Christ. They lied to you. Everything I said is literally playing out in your environment piece by piece by piece, because it's just like manifesting. I do something in the collective, the ethereal, and it plays out in your environment. I placed all the gods across the earth, and I've moved the water. I cracked Mount Shasta all the way down California fault line. California falls in the water. The water comes through San Francisco. Alwyn actually saw that. I talked about that. What does it mean that California will no longer be? There's a video in my somewhere on my channel about that. What I did to California, why will it sink? But here's the thing is everybody's like, well, it's not happening right now. You don't want to see those yet. Because if you see the Nile dry out, if you see California fall, we're getting towards the end, okay? But here it is, Mount Shasta. What does it mean when I say I cleared it and cut off life support to California? I did that. Part 2, I cried a lot because it was very painful, because I burned Archangel Samael by myself. And the masculine, each time they got the masculine and feminine to go against each other to cause bloodshed. Jesus and Mary Magdalene, Adam and Eve. Adam actually chose the false goddess. I did a video on what that means as well, the removal of the false goddess and what I was doing. So you can't deny who I am unless your shadow anchors you into it. This is a battle for your soul. But if you're actually watching my videos and you're paying attention without your judgments getting in the way, because God's not judgment, remember that. The fall of the false goddess, here it is, and the rising of the true goddess. And my DM did it again, okay? And that's why he no longer is here. I had to do it on my own. He won't even be able to watch this video. It was very painful to actually have that happen, but I got a walk-in as a gift because I rose and he did not, okay? My heart was pure, his was not. And so if you truly watch my videos, it goes along with what is happening, and you cannot escape the wrath. I repeat, you cannot escape the wrath. God will not tell you when things are coming, because nobody's going to be able to escape their karma. The only way you can is to rise out of it. I've seen people put posts out there that, oh, you can rise out of your karma through vibration. Bullshit. You cannot. And yet they can't see my videos. They aren't watching the activations, even in the area in which they live. Nigeria, Botswana, Zimbabwe. Like, you guys don't realize what I did is massive. And it's playing out piece by piece in your environment, and they do know. And I said they were going to build bunkers, and I also said you can't escape the wrath. The only way to escape anything is to rise through me, because I'm the one who brought it all about. So much love to all of you, but you still have to choose wisely even doing that. It's not about ego. It's not about being special. You're all chosen ones if you're here. I'm not a chosen one. There's a difference. So much love to all of you. Have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day. Rise above, change the game, change the game, change the game, because you are in the end game. It's the seventh wave of creation. You either rise into God, it's a reset here, or a reset somewhere else. None of your lives will play out again. So much love. Can't have karma here anymore. Hasta la vista. Let the crown games begin.